dipped after Pretty got shot.
Wait till summer kick in.
I don't think it's going to last long. I think that
it's gonna be more real to more people though. Once summer comes.
Yeah, and when the summer gas prices raise, and they're already fucking like here. It's I just posted a picture the other day at $7.65.
Fuck
a raise from that. I don't know how you fucking everybody's gonna be riding bicycles.
Yeah,
where are you at?
I'm in Northern California.
I should have known.
Yeah, I'm in Washington, and we're there's places I'm driving by at $6. So.
Well, we're going to see that, like what we saw when they just promised a ceasefire and it didn't actually happen for a long time. We saw about 30% of what the extreme, when the entire conflict kicked off, the beginning of that spike, 33% of that went away overnight as soon as they said the ceasefire deal was kicking into effect. I think we see that price plummet as soon as this is out of the way. On top of that, the UAE recently just left OPEC, and they're doing that because OPEC sets quotas on how much barrels of oil they put to the market, and the UAE wants to just say fuck that and release and flood the market with barrels to bring the price down as well. So there's a lot of different moving parts that could make this resolve in a way where the Iran war, if Trump's economy was good, I don't think anyone would give a shit that we're at war with Iran right now.
That's what happened in 2016, right? Was if money's in my pocket and I'm fat, dumb, and happy, I'm generally going to keep my mouth shut. Real quick, Miss Sarah, I don't know what the rules are, but I sent the StreamYard invite to my community as well.
Absolutely.
So there's a potential some raging commies might show up on my behalf.
Oh boy,
all for it. Yeah, most welcome. And once we get through Q&A, I already see I have one boot chat in the chat coming. But once we get through Q&A, then I'll apply the boots, which means anyone on the bottom half can get booted off the panel, and then the people that are coming, I see they're already here backstage. They can get added on as we do that. So yeah, send it out, more the merrier.
Cheers.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. Mr. Effigy, your question, comment, fuck yous, please.
Great fucking picture, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Tyler, it seems like your effectiveness arguments all take place in a vacuum. And it seems to me that we can't argue these kind of things as far as effectiveness unless we're arguing them constrained by the idea of the Constitution being faithfully executed by the executive, right? So when you say something like, well, the executive order can just last longer, but the property of an executive order means that it is at the whim of the executive. He could at any moment rescind it, right? And that's a key difference to me between an executive order and a law. A law requires a shitload of moving parts. It requires moving the mechanisms of people and promises and compromises to get to that point. An executive order is at the whim of one man. So making this kind of longevity argument just through time, to me, like it just belies the idea of what they are and how solid they are in as far as like being effective over time.
Not an unfair or bad argument. I wouldn't say that it's like it. I'd still argue my same arguments against it, but it's well put. Bravo.
Yeah.
Well, and also to what I was saying earlier about it being faithfully executed in your third part, your third argument is effectiveness. You basically said that, well, it can do the things that legislators can do. But that seems to me that you're celebrating essentially the effectiveness of usurping Article 1 power. If the executive can bypass Article 1, then what's the point of Article 1? The whole thing seems like an authoritarian mantra, right?
There's where I disagree. I didn't take a stance either way. I was just showing you what it is. I did mention the separation of powers and how they can emulate. Emulate was the word that I used. Emulate to a lesser reasonable degree. That's what the courts allow for. That's what the legislation does. They can't actually replicate those powers. What I was arguing is they're effective because they can emulate them to the degree where they're useful. He can build his own purse. He can wage his own trade wars without going to Congress for treaties and things of that nature. And a lot of it is because of the legislation Congress passed to allow them to do that.
Okay. All set, Effigy?
Sure.
All right. Spin to you, please.
I'll pass.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Zers to you, sir.
I like turtles. Anyway, thank you, sir, for having me up. I'm going to try to talk a little bit faster because normally I talk kind of slow and I have a bit of So I'm going to be that guy tonight. You guys have had a great debate. I mean, you guys have told me you guys have talked about congressional, not congressional, Supreme Court rulings on whether or not they're constitutional or not constitutional. You guys have talked about how either it has been effective at making some sort of change in our society in some way and whatnot. And I think, unfortunately, like I said, I'm going to be that guy. I know you guys have got together and you had an idea about what you were debating, and you know, you might be talked back and forth to know that you were on opposing sides of the idea. But I find that the debate prompt is a little strange, because we've heard about Trump and we've heard about the executive actions and we've heard about how effective they are and whatnot. But what if we remove the person and the thing, which is, of course, the initial start of the conversation, and we put in an effective solution to? What are we looking for an effective solution to in this prompt? The question and the answer is congressional inaction. I don't think at all any of the executive actions whatsoever has prompted any Congress member in Congress to not act, or to act, I mean, to solve the inaction by starting to pass congressional laws. None of these executive orders are making any of the Congress members actually move. That's what the prompt is. I mean, if you read it out, we're looking for an effective solution to congressional inaction. None of the executive orders have shown to cause action within Congress. And the sad thing is that these executive orders are being placed by a Republican president, correct? Who owns the Congress? Who owns the Senate? Who owns the House? Both Republicans. The only effective maneuver to cease this inaction within Congress is to work with Congress, to talk to Congress. Making memes about the Congress members is not going to help move that needle. It's not going to help get Congress to act.
Any thoughts?
True.
I read it a little differently. I guess it's up to interpretation, but I read the prompt as not the problem of getting Congress moving again. I read it as effectiveness, as to effectuate the policy that he ran on and got elected to put in action. So I kind of we're just disputing the prompt.
That prompt would be more of an effective solution to our problems, or an effective solution to what we need to solve. What the answer to is congressional inaction.
So I'll take a stab.
That's what the prompt was, though.
Right. Yeah. It's in response to congressional inaction, and apparently there has been the House passed multiple broad legislative packages to transform 50 of President Trump's executive orders into permanent federal law. So basically, what he used them as marching orders. He explained to his followers, his branch. Sorry, they're on their way to Iran. They fly over my house. So he used them as marching orders for his followers, his Republicans in Congress, and said, these are the things that we need to do. And they've done them. They made actual legislation. Congress also debated the Dignity Act. There was also agency fundings that have gone through Congress. Like, all of these things have been responses to Trump's executive orders. So he has caused activity in Congress because of his executive orders.
Any feedback to that, Zers?
Would you? And I would agree that there are. I would at least say one congressional order I know of that ended up getting congressional action, and that was the movement on Iran. But that was the only one that I can think of. And do you think that there would be more benefit of trying to create a bond, a communications, a clear communications
1,000%.
between him and Congress, which he seems to be making a divide with every midnight tweet that he puts out?
100% agree with you.
And I also noticed that some of these congressional orders, especially the ones that get turned down by the Supreme Court, They're like, he wakes up in the middle of the night, he farts out an idea, asks Grok to create a freaking congressional order, writes it up, signs it the next morning, and then says, and then wonders why it ends up getting slammed down by the Supreme Court. And that, I think, actually makes, as we were saying, congressional action. It makes Congress less likely to act upon those because they don't want to get wrapped up in the Supreme Court ruling themselves.
So they haven't followed all of their marching orders, is what you're saying. But nevertheless, they do know his mind. For what it's worth, I do agree with you that Trump's midnight tweets on the shitter are not helpful. They're not effective. They're definitely, and yes, I believe Tyler and I both agreed multiple times in the debate. And I'm not saying that you're, but it sounds like you're implying that we don't agree that the legislation way better, but executive order doing the trick until then. And like I said, we don't have time here to go through, but it is over 50 different executive orders that have been codified in one way or another since. So again, he did the thing. They followed what their instructions, and Congress
I guess my final kickback on that would be, why would we want executive orders to be the method of passing law in the first place, or even kicking the boat? Because often, like I said, there are ideas that he had overnight. We haven't been arguing about them for years, or something that he wanted to solve one day, and he kicked out an executive order for it. How does this not end up creating a lack of need or even concern over what Congress does? Because I can just wake up in the morning as president of the United States, write something out of my ass, and it becomes fact. It becomes reality.
That's a bad thing.
And that is a bad thing. Let's put it in the hands of an opposing party, somebody that you don't want in control, or even a fascist or communist party, somebody that you don't want in control, and they pass executive orders which destroys every executive order under it. And there is that possibility to end every executive order ever made with the stroke of a pen.
So we should get rid of executive orders because they're effective.
Not necessarily. I think that we should use a pattern that has been known throughout history to work, that we have first Congress bitch and moan and complain and try to pass things and not get it passed, and then they end up becoming executive order, which then Congress usually ends up falling along on.
Well, I think it's actually 61 things have actually been codified into law.
Okay, I knew it was over 50. There was a
list of 50, so. And that's quite a bit. But I would also argue there's a different way that Congress has reacted to some of Trump's actions. Trump issued a fentanyl emergency on the Canadian border. The Senate came together and said that's bullshit and dispelled the emergency.
Yeah, because fentanyl's not necessarily coming from Canada. It's coming over from China. If anything, I'm in Oregon. Our West Coast is probably right where it's coming through, man.
Congress has been
anyway, this is supposed to be opening, so I guess I'll try to land that plane. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Trump has actually been getting some pushback from his own side in Congress. It's not like they're all just one correlated unit. So instead of getting his appointments, Thune and Johnson have been coordinating to keep the House and the Senate closed at the same time, so he couldn't get appointments through as well.
Right. And when he gets pushbacks, what does he do? He goes up and he makes a midnight freaking tweet to bash the freaking guy, and that's not helping. That's not helping to move the congressional needle. That's not making them act. That's actually making them go into inaction. That is causing this block in congressional moves.
But some of what you're talking about, what you regret is with the separation of powers, the power of the president to emulate some of these powers of Congress is extremely diminished. And we have someone like a very originalist court with especially led by Gorsuch. Gorsuch is the one slapping Trump down left and right on whenever he oversteps. He's done it quite a few times, and he was the one that led it on IEPA as well. So separation of powers is still a thing.
Oh yeah, by the way, IEPA, he's beyond the timeline on all of that. He's supposed to back off or have congressional approval, by the way.
We agree.
Just to be clear though, so I think the main disagreement here is the disagreement of what effective means, right? So if their definition of effective is Donald Trump getting his policy aims through and he can do all of that without Congress, well, then it doesn't really matter if he's stimulating Congress to act because he could do it all without Congress, right? So if that's their definition of effective, then, you know, and
But
he can
what's-
do all of it through executive action, then that would be effective by their standard because it's getting all of Donald Trump's policy passed.
Ultimately, though, we're looking
We
for a
just earned so much
solution
more
to
respect for
congressional
doing it.
inaction, and that's not solving. I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying, but it's not solving the two problem.
I guess it would just solve the problem that it presents because, like, you know, congressional inaction in
Yeah.
and of itself isn't necessarily
Yeah,
a bad thing. The problem would
It
be if
unplugs
Congress
the
isn't.
jam.
Yeah, the problem would be if Congress isn't like correctly or like correcting bad things happening. But if it's the case that the executive does it, it doesn't really matter all that much if Congress is ineffectual. So it still solved the problem. It's just that it, you know, Congress is just still ineffectual.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Calvin, to you, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, great debate. I was multitasking, so I do apologize. I missed some of it. But I did want to follow up on the statement that I had brought up and try to confirm if the panel or the people that are kind of agreeing with or defending Trump. I think it's Mr. Average Debater and Horde.
God, don't tell me I'm defending Trump. I don't
Okay.
like the sound of those words.
Okay, see
Yeah.
that's why this is weird because usually you know, there's a degree of when I talk to a lot of people on this panel, there's not that honest and objectivity about his flaws, and it seems to be present today. So this is confusing. This is throwing me off, or whatever the case may
I'm
be.
glad.
Usually,
We're breaking new ground for you, my friend.
usually you have to beat them, fight them to get them to acknowledge some of his faults. But I wanted to talk about the border bill just quickly. I, for the life of me, cannot understand because this was a corner piece of his 2024 campaign. You look at Fox News, you listen to Donald Trump. It was all about the border and border reform. I can't understand for the life of me why you don't have this bill yet. So, are you at least holding Congress at this point in time? I know you said executive orders, you know, was the start, but at this point in time, I can't understand why you don't have that. Do you guys at least hold Congress responsible in that degree for not having that bill just yet?
Well, effectively, Congress never actually fully agreed on anything. During that time, there was the Senate bill that you're talking about, where only 3 Republicans signed on to it, and the rest of the Senate Republicans denounced it. And then the House at the same time produced something called H.R. 2, and that was their negotiating chip. The Senate the Senate majority refused to even negotiate with the House. There were several things like catch and release would have been codified into law. They wouldn't have gotten the visa program they wanted. There was funding for Palestine in that bill. There was all sorts of little earmarks and earworm, like little silly things that didn't belong in there that a lot of Republicans did not like. And then they refused to negotiate with the House. They said, you just got to ram this through. So the House said it's dead on arrival. That's why that bill died. But Trump proved that you don't need more funding. You can just flex your might as a country. And he used executive orders on the border to pressure Mexico to put troops on the border, to pressure Mexico to guard its southern border. He used it on like a half a dozen different countries in South America to get them to take back their people that were here illegally, a lot of them being violent criminals. So he used his muscle and might as the executive, which if you codify too many things into law at the border, the president loses those powers once they're codified into law. So Republicans won't take that deal unless it's worth it because they have the population support on their handling of immigration.
So that was
Holy argument.
a fancy way of walking around the issue. What you said, I do agree with, but that was like a year and a half ago. That was before Trump was even elected. We are a year plus a month and a year and 5 months, and they could have done any and everything to that bill to make it exactly what they wanted at this point in time. So there's no excuse because you had the House and you had the Senate and you have a president. So I still don't understand why you have not fixed the bill that was there a year and a half ago, and you have not fixed the bill as of today. And
That's
you're
easy
talking,
then. If you're
and
just
you're
talking about practically.
huh?
So I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were asking that.
Yeah, but my thing is, you guys wanted us to run around with our hair on fire about this border reform, and you know, we have an election coming up, midterm, and it's a possibility that you may not have control of the House. So I'm confused about it. I'm just really confused.
Well, you need majority approval. You need 60 votes in the Senate to pass a piece of legislation that doesn't fit under your hold on, my dog.
Him.
Yeah, sorry about that. So,
Holy.
yeah, there's
They didn't like your argument.
I think 4 times a year you can pass legislation if it doesn't change the spending at all, and that's it. And other than that, you need 60 votes for everything. They don't have 60 votes. They don't have any Democrats besides maybe Fetterman that's willing to sign on in the Senate. So that being said, they have to continue to use this as a cudgel in politics to beat it over the Democrats' head. And when you have 13 states that are outright denying federal law on immigration and working against the administration trying to deport people, that's the cudgel they need to keep beating in order to get the public on their side. Once they have enough votes, then they pass the legislation.
Can I also real quick weigh in? You're you peopling me again. I am not a Republican. I just need to be very clear about that. I'm an independent.
I'm independent too.
Yeah, I typically am. I waffle between Green Party and Libertarian, but that's a whole conversation of why. But
catching strays tonight, buddy.
Oh, I know I am. I do every night, my friend. But the answer to your question, and I'm sure I'm going to catch some for this, the reason that they haven't been able to get it through is because there are several big business interests who very quickly reminded the representative in their pocket that how negatively it would affect their pocketbook to have these laws happen. And so there turned out to be more practical implications that they didn't think about when they were, stomping on the podium and rabble rousing. So again, the money said, "Nuh-uh, hold on, let's think about this."
I have to go to bed. Direct all your anti-Trump ire at the horseradish.
Tyler, would you like to say any final thoughts to everyone?
Yeah, my channel is really just a formality to come online and have conversations about the stuff I like to listen to and read. So I had a fantastic time. Thanks everybody. Logix, I added you on Discord. You can try jumping by this guy's DMZ if you want some time. It's a good time. And otherwise, Average Debate Enjoyer on YouTube and X and all that fun stuff. And I'll be around if you need me. Take her easy.
Thank you, Tyler.
Peace.
Have a good evening. Say hi
Be
to
safe.
the missus. All right. And I think, let me make sure he wasn't connected. He is connected. So if you are watching over on Tyler's side, head on over to the Raging Tomato. And if you want to continue watching the rest of the evening, we'll kick off over here before we go to the gauntlet. Otherwise, I am going to remove his video now just for precautions. Thank you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how liberal we are with responses there. I do have something I wanted to say to that, but if we need to move on for time's sake,
No. You're okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So to the first thing, I would say, I feel like there was two missing of the arguments there. It was like two people arguing about points that neither of them made. So it feels like Calvin's initial point was like, okay, well, if Donald Trump is going to be is using executive orders to replace these legislative bodies, how are you going to feel if Donald Trump can't get a border bill passed, right? It seems like this was the main thing that Donald Trump was running on. And if he can't get this border bill passed, he's going to be a giant failure of a president. And I agree with that. But the problem is that it kind of seems like Tyler and Horseradish both agree that he's a giant failure of a president. So it kind of is what it is. But also just to correct it, all right, this idea that border bill was going to rob power of the president that he legitimately had, it's bullshit, all right? That's the Ryan Mullally argument. It's bad, okay? It's a bad argument.
Blah, 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 blah.
True.
So, no, but, well, for what it's worth, Calvin, I think that you make a really valid point insofar as because he pinned all of his feathers to that particular movement, if he doesn't get that done, that's what's losing him a lot of the support of his less culty basis. That they're like, you know what? Look, he's not doing the shit he said he was going to do, and he is doing shit he specifically said he wasn't going to do. No new wars. So it's negatively affecting him, but he also is a lame duck insofar as he's in his second term. He doesn't get another one. His fucks have all been given. He wants his name written on everything possible so that people will remember him for as long as possible. That's his goal. He is no longer motivated by politics. He is now motivated by his legacy.
Well, it depends on how you read the 22nd Amendment, buddy.
All right. Let me kick it over to Santa. Your Q&A time has arrived now that Tyler left. Go ahead. Oh, you're muted, Santa.
Rookie.
Yeah, whatever, Spin. Go breathe in a closed space.
Be careful. Be careful what you do.
No. This is one at a time. Go ahead, Salty.
I kept hearing that this Congress was afraid, or Congress is inaction, right? Effective to congressional inaction. And I was kind of thinking that, well, Congress would be afraid to take action because they're being threatened with being primaried. They're being threatened with this and whatever. And I would honestly say that, so what if they're afraid to take action? I agree with the inactional debate that they're beginning to say, well, look at Trump doing all this. Well, what have you done? Because they got hired to do a job and they didn't do it. Now, I would say that there's probably more public scrutiny in the congressional thing. And I believe I heard that maybe from Logix or somebody. I was driving at the time to get back here. But it occurred to me, what did you expect from a guy who was mentored by Roy Cohn, who was known for treating people in business deals? What did you guys really expect? Because you seem upset, and I'm not upset because I'm like, yeah, that's who you hired.
You mean like me? I was upset.
Any of you, because I know none of you are like, hey, Trump is number one, at least on the original panel. But what do we as a society get to do when these pieces? It was not a mystery that Trump came out of the Roy Cohn thing. Roy Cohn was a lawyer who was working with the mob and had ways of making sure cement got to certain building places. What did we expect?
Yeah, I think that this is just a product of like MAGA's own doing, because they invested so much into Trump, which I don't know why, especially after the first term. Yeah. So I think it's just this is just the chickens coming. The chickens coming home to roost. It's like you pick somebody that was an ineffective leader twice, and now he's not going to get anything done for what most people want. Everything he's doing is for Trump. Like I said, it was just kind of funny when Tyler said his own agenda, which I think that's all that's really happening. This is a perfect example of the same thing that happened with Epstein. Oh, we're gonna get in here, we're gonna let everybody know everything because the Democrats are running a sex ring under a pizza place, and then look what happened. Your president is in there implicated the most. I'm not saying he did anything, but he's implicated. Right. And now you're like, oh wait, we shouldn't do this. And they're looking at the Justice Department. Why you guys didn't put it out? Well, they're supposed to work independently. Like they keep creating these issues, and then once they realize how things work, they're like, wait, what's going on? And now they have to they're living in a reality that they created, and they can't cope with it.
And that specifically like the congressmen that seem to die off every week because they've fallen out of favor?
What you mean, literally?
Well, I don't follow politics too much, but a lot of the Congress people that were big MAGA supporters, elite guard, he seems to just turn on them when they're no longer relevant or needed.
Yeah, I think once their morality kicks in, he's like, well, you're useless to me. So
that's a sad thing. I don't know if I agree entirely, but I don't disagree.
Back to the effectiveness of his executive orders. He has. Oh, are we still doing the?
Well, no. Can I just real quick throw one response to that, because this is where I didn't vote for Trump, but we cannot say that he wasn't effective in his first term. I was never a never Trumper until we got to round 2. And I've had a lot of people, and trust me, a lot of people in my community shit on him nonstop. But his first term, he was actually doing more or less what his constituency wanted.
Well, it's actually good you brought that up, because I was going to look into something he did on his own.
Sorry, it's between Santa and the panel right now.
Sorry.
Yeah, and then we'll open up here in just a second. Santa, I don't know if you had a response to that or not.
Well, I mean, it is interesting to look at the two different terms. I think we do see two different presidents, in fairness.
100%.
I think Trump was accused of a lot of things because he's a New Yorker with an exceptional attitude problem. And some people like that attitude, and it maybe brought power to people who felt like they didn't have power. And I think that it was interesting to me that he was more unifying across race than President Obama, who also used executive orders. I'm for DACA, for example. But,
DACA didn't go far enough. That's the problem with it.
Yeah, I've been through 3 of these amnesty bills so far, and they're challenging because it's really a hard problem to fix. Mm-hmm. But so the question would be then, if he's not able to build the word's escaping me, but a group that he can push things through Congress, and 60
coalition
votes needed to pass. Mm-hmm. Yeah, coalition. Thank you. If he's not able to do that, doesn't Article 2 enable him to do whatever he needs to do in order to do that? And then there are 4 checks and balances on that. It's any of the federal courts. It doesn't have to be the Supremes. Then it's the Supremes, and then it's Congress, and I forget the 4th one. But there are checks and balances still to the executive order.
So there's this kind of impression that I think a lot of unitary executive theorists hold, where it's like I'm using my executive power legitimately until you tell me I'm not. There's definitely limits on we can just facially look at an executive order and say, okay, this is not the purpose of an executive order, right? Like if Donald Trump were to pass tax cuts through executive order, well, it is like trivially true that if it's unconstitutional, the courts are going to strike it down because that is the whole point of the courts. We can look at that and say that's not a legitimate executive order. You can't sign an executive order legislating just because you can't gather a coalition in the legislature. So like it kind of like Donald Trump famously said, like, I have the Article 2 ability to do whatever the hell I want as president. And I think that's kind of the philosophy that he has as president. But I think that's probably kind of like undermining the whole problem with this idea that he has of what an executive order is that he views it as not like a Band-Aid that you can put on congressional inaction, but it is the action. This is the action that he needs to take. This is replacing the congressional action because he can't build a coalition, which is the biggest problem because that's just not what executive orders do.
But I'm sorry to talk over you, but the guy is a TV show host who likes a lot of, media interest and everything else. So why does everyone else need to buy into that? He's not allowed to change existing law.
Well, I think it's because a lot of Republicans are opportunistic. So if they see somebody who's like really good at centralizing a lot of power, they're just going to kind of hitch their wagon to them and hope that they're on the right side of him, especially since he's so easily manipulated. So people like Stephen Miller, I don't think he believes that Donald Trump is a particularly good person or a particularly good legislator or, executive or somebody. He views him as like a really charismatic dumb puppet that he can use, because Stephen Miller could never win an election because he's like the most uncharismatic, smarmy fuck in the world. But like he's using Donald Trump as like, okay, this is the charismatic guy that I can get all my shit through, and that's kind of how I view a lot of the Republicans in Congress right now.
And if I could interrupt for just a moment, I am going to go ahead and shut down on the Raging Tomato side. If you'd like to continue watching, we're moving over to the Gauntlet. That is at the Gauntlet Debate. Head on over there. You can catch the raid. I also dropped the link into the chat. We'd love to continue the show. Other than that, I'm shutting down the Raging Tomato side now. Thank you. Santa, back to you, please.
I agree. That's a really good point. And I believe that he is being manipulated. But the Constitution talks about the position, not the person.
Mm-hmm. Right? I did mention this in the debate, for what it's worth, that we have to blame his handlers, the people who are whispering in his ear. I said Steve Bannon. I forgot that he's fallen out of service, and it's now basically Stephen Miller. So thank you for that. But yeah, nevertheless, we for especially Trump 2.0, it was because he's old. He doesn't give a fuck about any of this. He is literally just looking for a safe landing place for the rest of his life, right? Like, and so he is a means to an end. He is a great and loved person by a lot of people. They knew that they could manipulate him and use him. Like I was shown the actual politics of people like Curtis Yarvin, Peter Thiel, and et cetera, like that whole arm. And once you realize how in control they are of this administration, and you realize how antithetical a lot of the shit they believe is to the Republican Party, you realize, oh shit, this is all behind the back handshakes and shit that's going on here. And
Sure.
Donald
But
Trump
do you
is
think
not the
this is
devil
the
that people
first-
want to make him to be. I'm just that. Sorry.
Yeah, but do you think
saying I like
that this is the first administration to have that? I
No.
heard about a magical pin. I think a lot of these people that are in those positions are
Yes.
subject to this.
Yes. Absolutely. And there is historic
No,
precedent for it too.
I neither love nor hate Trump. I neither love nor hate Biden. So I'm just coming from it. I hear the arguments from one side, and I like to ask the questions to the other side.
I will say, I think we lose a little bit too much nuance whenever we say that, like, oh, well, Biden did executive orders. Oh, well, like Obama did executive orders. Oh, well, they had advisors like Donald Trump. I feel like we're losing a little bit too much of the nuance there because, I mean, Biden, we don't really know the inner mechanisms of the White House as much as people like to pretend we do. So I don't know if we can really say all that much how the Biden administration operated, or at least I'm not familiar with with any of the reports there. In terms of like historical presidencies, though, it's not my impression that these presidents are just a slave to their advisors and that they're just doing whatever. Like the thing that he's a slave to, more or less, is the constituency, is the voters. They want to maintain enough popularity so they can get reelected. But Donald Trump is particular here because not only is that the case, but like Horseradish pointed out, like he's a lame duck. Like I don't even think the craziest of Republicans think that he actually has a legitimate chance of having a second or a third term. So like it is kind of just balls to the wall. He could do whatever with Stephen Miller in his ear, and we're having like unprecedented access to the White House and unprecedented access to the inner mechanisms of like how these are functioning. Yeah,
I truly believe most of his actions involve a shrug right now. Like,
but,
okay,
you're on a roll, but you go saying that we shouldn't use the previous two administrations as something to judge against.
No.
And then you.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's particular. Like I'm saying you can compare them against the two administrations, but I'm saying, Donald, when you do compare them against the two administrations, it has to be on a deeper level than, oh, well, they have advisors. Oh, well, they signed executive orders, because when you look at them on a deeper level, Donald Trump is very clearly more beholden to his advisors and more, flagrant with his misuse of executive authority than I'd say that Barack Obama or Joe Biden.
And I want to go ahead and, because we're getting into a good discussion and I want to be able to let more voices in. But I want to say the floor is officially open. But that also means, Spin, you get 10 minutes backstage to go cool your jets, sir. So I'm going to go ahead and set a timer. All right, I'm setting a timer for you, Spin.
He said B.
Spin City just loves me. I get it.
What?
That was you?
Yeah, that's early Santa Claus.
How could you kick him off? He's your best friend. Come on.
What are you talking about? This is Santa time.
Yeah.
I got to represent the elves.
Your elf discretion.
Okay.
Sounds
Now
like a revolt in the North Pole.
I was about to say, was that one of the elves?
So as far as his executive
Workers
orders
unite.
and the effectiveness of his executive orders in the first term, you were mentioning that in his first term he was effective and he was definitely fighting for us, and now he made two executive orders in his first term that were supposedly to lower the price of food on our shelves. And those executive orders basically gutted the EPA and the FDA and made them useless. And it was all saying that because of the farmers and the industries had to do all this stuff, which cost so much money. And that's why our food was so expensive. If we just get rid of these horrible things that are clean air, clean water, things like that, then we can have everything be cheaper. And I've seen not one thing drop in price.
I would agree
So
with that.
I would agree with that as well. But at the end of his first term, the economy was doing well. That was why he there was a lot of pushback from the left against him. But at the end of the day, like it ended during the Rona, right? So like again, there was a bunch of things going crazy at the time. So a lot of people sort of shrugged. But at the end of the day, at the end of his first term, he wasn't really the devil. You know what I mean? Like, and that was
well,
kind
at the end of his first
we were
term,
massively
right
in
before the
debt.
end of his first term.
We were insanely in debt.
That was the reason I got into politics.
People love to downplay how much he was botching what was going on, and they're just like, "Oh, it was kind of like a natural disaster." No,
he
made a
wasn't
bunch
good
of
at it.
decisions that made shit go even worse.
Yes, I
Again,
agree.
I hate to be
He
that
wasn't good
guy.
at
You know, there was only one president in the United States that ever left us with a surplus. Left us. Now, there was a president that was close to having a surplus, but when he got out of office, the economy shit on him. But there was only one president, exactly, and everybody hates him because he got a blowjob.
No,
Yeah.
No, we hate him because of
Yeah.
NAFTA, which
Yeah.
then the following years, all of our manufacturing left the country and the middle class got wiped out.
what he said.
Nobody cares that he got a blowjob.
And it messed up
A lot of people
Mexico,
care that he got a blowjob.
Yeah,
to be clear.
JF. To be fair, JF.
only bring it up when you bring up Trump
Maryland.
cheated,
Nobody
and they
gave a
don't
rat's
care.
ass because he was doing the shit they wanted done. Like the American
Well,
public
what
is
if you
way
say I wanted
happy
to
to
hear
turn
it
their
too?
eye to that shit. As
Well,
long
we
as
would
you're
love
doing
our country to be back in without a always owing money to everybody. We would love to have no deficit.
I wanted to ask DMC. DMC says something. He made it seem like Trump didn't have any, or I wanted to have him clarify. You made it seem like Trump didn't have any agency in terms of his decisions, and you seem like you're blaming on his advisor, people like Stephen Miller this time around. And I'm just curious because I don't see it that way. I think he does play, have a lot of say so in what goes on, even more so now than his first term. Can you clarify?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. Go ahead. No,
No,
go ahead.
somebody else. Okay.
But at the same time, he's a dementia-addled old man who can only remember the last thing someone pumped into his brain, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the problem, where it's like Donald Trump does theoretically hold a lot of value because he's the face of this whole operation. But Donald Trump doesn't really care to input an opinion half the time because he's old and senile and he doesn't really give a fuck about anything. But when he does give a fuck, I actually think that Donald Trump is not as bad as a lot of my peers on the left think he is, because he's genuinely so retarded that he's not able to get like half of the Republican like Project 2025 wish list that he wants through because he'll just go out and tweet their master plan like in broad, like very clear language. He does hold theoretically a lot of power, but his ineptitude and his stupidity holds them back a lot in that.
If you don't mind, since the question was directed at me. First of all, I want to clarify, I'm the horseradish. The DMZ is the debate forum that I host on Fridays and Saturday nights. That's where I work. I'm the horseradish, though, just so you know. That said, the answer to your question was Project 2025, exactly like Ren was saying. So if you look at his immediate actions before he took office, he repeatedly said, "I don't know who they are. I'm not associated. Who the fuck is that? I mean, maybe they got some good ideas. I don't know." And then within his first 100 days, he went 20 with all of their asks. So again, that right there shows that he doesn't give a fuck. He's doing what he's told. We know that, and again, I don't like the dude, and he's a bad person for a lot of shit that he did in his past. But as far as a presidency goes, he is just a puppet. His second term, he got put into office, and he is primarily trying to avoid prison. He does not want to be in jail for the end of his life. And so this man is doing every fucking thing he can to put his name and his legacy everywhere he can. We've seen that throughout his entire career. And then number two, protect himself and his lineage from the consequences of that shit from the earlier years.
I will point out something important in the sense, though, that I think people almost like attribute too much logic to the actions of Donald Trump, because I think he's just a fundamentally irrational actor. So like, it's one thing to say like, oh, he's a puppet, But a lot of his actions aren't consistent with that because, like, oh, what about, you know, him? Like, do you think it's like the will of Stephen Miller for Donald Trump to basically come out on Twitter and say everything that is supposed to stay quiet? Well, the answer is no, because he's irrational.
100%. Yes, he's
right.
reactionary.
Right. And like
he's a bully, and if you poke a bully, the bully reacts. So yes, but I guarantee this. How many times have you seen his handlers say, "Hey, you shouldn't have fucking done that," and suddenly that tweet disappears, or he's like, "Oh fuck, that one didn't land. God damn it! Sorry guys, I didn't mean it. This is what I was doing."
Just in furtherance of saying that, like, it's really hard to
during the election when he was like, "We have Elon Musk and he knows computers, and that wins us the election."
It's just really hard to find it's really hard to find like an equation that Donald Trump fits into because he doesn't act rationally. That's his MO.
Well, you know, I didn't celebrate
Biden. Hold on, Calvin.
The crime bill that sent more black and brown people to jail than anyone else, and that was with Clinton. Now, so I just let's remind these things in history, okay? Everybody gets to dump Biden crime bill or the Clinton crime bill. They both ran it together, and it put more black and brown people in prison. Don't choke to death. Are you okay, Elf? Okay.
She's amazed by your plan.
Too many candy canes.
Kids in prison than any other legislation.
But what are you saying about
popular, right?
That was just that, like, people.
Well, so what am I saying? We're talking about this guy being handled, and I completely agree. But are we saying that the other ones aren't handled? I heard you say that they're not handled, Rinald.
Traditionally, yes, you did. But traditionally, these people are handled not by like their advisors or not handled by like they're handled by the people that they're representing. They're handled by their voters, right? So in that situation, the reason that the crime bill passed, that super bad crime bill, it passed because it was popular in the 90s because America was crime ridden, right? So I don't think that was like the interest. I think that was just the American people.
Yeah, you were much younger then. I was there as the legislation was going through. In fact, I fought in combat when that legislation was going through. So why it went through is there was a conversion from the state having to monitor all these facilities and, we're going to save a bunch of money because we're now going to privatize these things without anybody seemingly notice, hey, if we privatize it, then it's going to be for profit. And they got larger, and they're still overcrowded because nobody wanted to fix it. None of the administrations in between, either side, have fixed overcrowding. Neither.
I would say
you guys get to say, Trump is doing his things now compared to the millions of lives affected by that. What say you?
It's not even that.
Welcome
the
back.
problem
Sir.
is like they still were seeking a solution to a problem. You get what I'm saying? Like, even if we see what came from the crime bill, this still was, even the CBC was behind that. Like, there were black people in legislation that wanted that to happen. So it's not like a lot of people look at them like, oh, Joe Biden did X, Y, and Z. I'm like, he didn't like unilaterally do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was popular, and then we just see what happened for it, and he actually can take responsibility for it, unlike some people. So I don't even hold that against him in any way.
I do have to make I have to make my exit. Can I do my little outro?
Absolutely, Rinald.
Okay, I appreciate you having me. I appreciate Tyler, even though he's not here. Horseradish, thank you, Logix, for teaming up with me. Appreciate it. Sorry for talking over you so much. I appreciate everybody here. I do a bunch of debates. I'm a liberal. I'm a DNC shill. Follow me at Rinald. I'm usually on TikTok, but I come here every once in a while.
The Taco Tick. How wonderful.
Thank you,
Pleasure meeting you, Rin.
Peace, bro.
W.
Peace.
All right, Spin.
What is this?
Spin, you have
this
some.
is the Terraria music. I didn't realize this was playing.
Oops. I wanted to.
I guess we just had like a cute little soundtrack in the back.
Hey, Ringworm, you said you were leaving. Get lost.
You're still on.
I don't think it was that audible though. It's really, really quiet.
Ren, you're still on.
I'll kick him. It's okay. It's okay.
Let's say, dude, hang up the fucking phone.
Spin, you have some news for everyone you're really excited to share. Go ahead and let them know.
Oh, Miss Sarah, I have my own TV show now over on America Rising Media. I was asked if I would take a time slot. And guess who my first guest is?
Effigy.
President Trump.
Never in
that was gonna be my guess.
motherfucking years.
Is it okay if I don't know what American Rising Media is?
That's okay. You can Google it, libtard.
It's okay. No one else does.
Thank
Sarah, the Raging Tomato, has agreed to be my first co-host.
Is there a way to?
Oh,
is, is there a way?
You better listen to your elf, Santa, or
I
she's
don't know
going
s-
to castrate you.
I don't know StreamYard very well. Is there a way to control the gain on his microphone?
Yeah,
Sarah,
I can. He likes to talk really, really close in his mic and get really excited.
Right. Well, we can do that if that is what you want, but it is very annoying whenever my ears are punished.
Oh, well.
But yeah,
with it.
you are coming
Thank
in
you
pretty
very
loud.
much. I
Spin.
appreciate it. Again,
Is it bad? Is it better, Sarah?
that is better. Thank you very much,
yeah.
sir.
Okay.
It'd be
All right.
better if you shut up.
It might be better if I could bounce your ass off the panel. How's
Well,
that?
I think Spin. I don't know what you got going on with your mic because it
Glad you
is.
finished that with off the
Maybe
panel.
if I turn it down a little bit on my end, but it does come in where like it's like you're so loud or so close to it that it gets fuzzy. You know that like it's too loud.
and I
fuzzy
can't
sound.
actually hear it exactly.
It's
right.
My complaint.
It's further away than it normally is, so maybe the mic gods said,
And the only reason I bring this up is congratulations on your show. And
Thank
I want to make sure that your mic doesn't hurt your audience.
my ears are hurting with all the libtardian bullshit that's been said in here, but that's just my opinion.
I'm gonna step away for just a minute. I gotta go check up on the doggy, but I'll be right back, guys. Ben's in charge.
But yes,
I also
it's-
have to talk about the Repubtards, right?
Well, you can talk about the repubtards all you want, libtard.
Libtards,
I'm so not a libtard unless that's
I
short for
know.
libertarian as well.
Oh, I know. I know.
All right, fair enough.
I have to use slurs in there because that's all the
Because
left
that's what gets fired
really
at you.
understands.
No, that's what gets fired at you. And so that's the reason we should both stop. And I personally believe that we should be on the self-righteous high ground where we set a precedent in America of how we should be able to move forward using less of that. Right.
You know what,
So again, I
Bruce,
try to turn the other cheek. Is the
No, listen, there are some things that Trump has done, and I've heard you allude to this that you don't agree with. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that Trump's done that I don't fucking agree with. But when you put Scamala and Timmy Tampon in the same room,
I don't know what that means, but it's fucking hilarious.
Scamala. I mean, she tried to scam the American people with her heritage.
That's Kamala. I got you. I got you.
With your
And what was the other one? What was the other one? Timmy.
Shut up. That's what I'll throw you out of here.
What was the other name you said? What was the other name?
Timmy Tampon.
Timmy Tampon.
Tim Walls. Tim
Oh,
Walls.
oh, okay, got you. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
Mr.
not those-
Tampon. You need what does a guy need a tampon machine in the boys' bathroom for? What are they
Because that's
shoving
not
them up
what the
their ass?
legislation was.
I mean, seriously, it makes
It was
no
just
sense.
to make them accessible for people in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there is a thing out there where femme gay dudes are shoving pills of tomato paste up their ass so they can simulate a cycle. I mean, this is the kind of
back when I was in high school, the boys
That's about the weirdest shit, right?
back when I was in high school, the boys were soaking their tampons in alcohol for purposes. Just so you know, that was a thing back when I was in high school. So,
I mean, that's fine.
you ever had a nosebleed in the middle of class, dude? Fucking tampon, great for you.
Looks
I
like
believe there's
I'm not
a
saying
Supreme
that
Court
there are
justice
not
who's got into
really
looping.
hygienic uses for them in emergency situations.
And why
What
would you
I'm
want to
trying
deny?
say-
Why would you want to deny boys the access to that safety measure?
Because if you want to talk like a bitch, they need to go put a dress on. That's what they fucking need to do.
Well, and whenever they try, thank you. When they try, most people are angry about that.
I'm not angry about it. I just think it's really fucking stupid. You're not a girl.
Yeah,
You just
be
they
man
should.
enough to
Wait a
let
minute.
people do what they wanna do.
What about when men have daughters and they can't go in the women's bathroom and they need to go in the bathroom with them?
What about whenever the women's bathroom breaks down and now all of a sudden the women don't have access to the tampons that they normally would have had access to? Everybody's sharing a bathroom.
Let me guess, libtard. You want a gender neutral bathroom? Go to the Spaghetti Factory or the Noodle Hut. They're all about gender.
I hate to break this to you, but every house in America has a gender
And
neutral
thank you.
bathroom.
Oh my God, Effigy, beautifully said. I was about to say, I would like to ask you, sir, why do you like pissing and shitting in a room with other dudes? I hate it. Let's have single-use bathrooms. Can we do that, please? I don't want to hear. I don't want a dude talking to me while my dick is in my hand.
Well, I agree with that one. I do agree with that one. But
So let's have nothing but single-person bathrings. Huzzah! Problem solved.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Would you permit your daughter, or if you have one, whatever? It's none of my fucking business. We're not going to talk about them because they ain't here. However, would you want a man in the woman's restroom with your daughter?
I'm sorry, guys. Have you guys went to a public restroom recently? I'm not kidding. I've been to public restrooms, and there's like never anybody in there. Maybe one person in there every once in a while. I've actually accidentally walked into a woman's restroom, not realizing it. Went in. I don't know. I think I took a shit that day. Got back out. As I'm walking out, then a woman's walking in, and I was like, oh shit. There's not that many damn people in the damn restroom to have 8 freaking stalls or whatnot for only
Not
one
only
set.
that, the fact is, if anybody's gonna do something criminal, the sign on the door is not stopping them.
That's actually not stopping them a bit. They go in there. There's a guy that was just busted. He was a YouTuber. And he went in and upskirted a girl in a Walmart or whatever in the restroom, which is horrible, going underneath the restroom stall. I don't know why you would want to see some chick, but there are people anyway. But that doesn't. None of this has anything to do with executive orders.
Real quick to answer, I no, it doesn't. But I was asked a question, so I'd like to answer. What do you go? Spin is what you go by.
That's fine.
Cheers. All right. So to answer your question, no, of course I would not like that. However, I also, as I said, would rather that the bathrooms don't happen the way that they are now. So I think we should fix that part. But I will also say that I'm going to be outside of the bathroom door. And as soon as my child screams my name, who and whatever is in there, woe the fuck be unto you. So no, I don't want that to happen, but I'm going to deal with it if it happens. I'm not going to penalize people that would never do that.
Yeah, but there is some sort of morality to that, in which people that are or feel that they are something that they're not, and biologically they cannot be what they think they are.
Sure,
should not. In my opinion. Well, hold on. Let me land it.
Go ahead.
For you.
Yep.
Okay.
Please. Yes, sir.
There again. I'm sorry. I have to repeat it to keep my train. So
yes, sir. Oh, no, I understand. I apologize for interrupting.
No, it's fine. There is some sort of moral clarity that you would have to have. A man cannot become a woman cannot become a man biologically. Yes, you can feel. Listen, I could feel that I'm fucking Santa Claus, right? But does it make me Santa Claus? No. But what does it do? What does it hurt for me to stop you from putting a candy cane in your fucking yard? So
it's a long train that just keeps going in circles.
We could have a long, and that's exactly what I was just about to say. We could have a long conversation about, because I have some nuanced views when it comes to transgenders and transgender rights, same as everything else. I don't think that anything exists in a vacuum, and I think we have to get into you can't just do these black and white takes on it. So with that said, to answer your question, there are other things. If even in your framing, if you believe that it is some sort of a mental, a mental health issue or something of that nature, right? What benefit do you think that person gains from you just being like, okay, whatever? Now, again, I do agree that there are certain things in our current system that need to change to acclimate to these developments, such as single person bathrooms, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, just because there are things in the situation now that need fixed should not prevent us from moving forward. And I want to live in a world as a libertarian where people have the right and ability to define themselves as they see fit. There is also a difference between sex and gender. And I think that is a super important thing that gets left behind by a lot of people.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. My pushback to it is
You just
My-
did.
Pushing back. Ben.
he does when you guys yell at him and call him names. When somebody's actually hearing him out, he's being more honest about his opinion. I'm sorry. Go on, sir. Please.
why I say moral is, you know, that you are not what you may feel you are. Okay. I mean, let's say this factually. If we have the First Amendment, right? And freedom of expression technically falls under the First Amendment. But there is morality to it, where if you're a dude, you shouldn't be going in a women's bathroom, regardless however you feel.
That's nothing.
That is my take on it, and to land it and move on from it.
Sure.
That's my clarity. And the other comment I'm going to make is Donald Trump has not signed any executive order taking the right or a right away from anyone. And I'm tired of hearing that argument.
I don't know.
Name one executive order that he has signed.
Hey, you're running past it. Hang on. Let me ask you a question about what you said about the trans thing.
Anyone.
Spin, if you saw a trans man who looks exactly like a man, which most trans men can get to that point where it is almost indistinguishable between them and a man, like any kind of just effeminate dude, or there's some like butch looking trans men out there as well. But if you saw a trans man walking into a women's bathroom, would you cause an uproar?
I would stop him. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Then you're basically advocating for trans people to have no access to bathrooms.
An unsolvable
Wait a
problem.
minute.
But that's because it takes umbrage with the original problem.
I don't think he caught that.
Hold on, though, because
I was worried he needed to clarify this. Yes.
Hold on a second, because Effigy said that looks like a male. Like,
So,
I'm
yes,
assuming with that.
trans male, it is female at birth. So in other words, born biologically woman and walks in looking like a man.
I hear that. But if he looks like a man, I'm assuming Spin couldn't tell the difference.
That's the point. So he would look the person who is pre-op, who is not.
That's what happens. Spin boned a dude, and it's upset him for the rest of his life.
That's not productive, man. But basically, if a person who is born female at birth but now presents themselves as male and is passable male is starting to walk into the bathroom that Spin believes should be used, then by Spin's logic, Spin would knock that person on their ass because he would think that it was an actual biological male walking into the women's bathroom.
So you were talking about how the executive orders can be beneficial and whatnot. Now, do you think on this entire subject, do you think it'd be great to have an executive order that we have to have men's and women's bathroom and women go in men's? In reality, this is a very short-lived. Hold on, this is a very short-lived ideology. Anyway, we've only been doing this maybe a couple hundred years. It's always been public restrooms were places you went to shit and piss, not necessarily where you went to look at a sign to find out which one you go into. This is just kind of recent, you know what I mean? So it's not like we're saying that we haven't had society go on forever without problems pissing and shitting men and women in the same place.
I think the problem is that you end up with the outliers and the oddities of the people who want to take an advantage of something that's supposed to be genuine, right? So if you go through full transitional surgery, so on and so forth, right? You're a dude who no longer is a dude, and you got everything cut off and adjusted. Yeah, I'm not afraid of you necessarily in the ladies' bathroom because you don't have the very thing that I would be afraid of, right?
No, there are people, like you were saying, oddities. That, like, there's a guy who I was listening to in a voice chat on Discord the other day. He's obviously a dude. He acts like a dude. He acts like a doofy little freaking teenage boy, even though he's like 30 or something. And he insisted, because he was tran, even though he doesn't absolutely look or anything tran at all. Anytime I've ever talked to him,
that's why you
that
have
gives
to
him a right
caveat
to
it.
hit a woman. And I thought that was an absolute bullshit take,
well, yeah, I don't think anybody should hit anybody anyways, but with that being said, if you're a dude with a dick and say you want to put makeup on and you want to put dresses on and you're like starting hormonal therapy or something like that, but you still have a dick, go in the men's bathroom, because that is the very thing that me as a woman would be afraid of being alone with you in the ladies' room. Right. That's the biggest issue and concern, I would say. Now, I also do have an issue with the concept of privacy. I'm a woman. I would like to use a ladies' room where I feel comfortable, but we also have stalls too. Right. But I mean, even locker rooms, this is where people get even more uncomfortable. And I can understand that. Even young girls. Right. I saw this issue happen at the school nearby where middle school girls were like, they were taking too long dressing in the bathroom stall. So the teacher made them go to one of the teacher's classrooms and undress and redress for like soccer, right? In a classroom. This is a problem. There are windows. There's a door with a window. There was a teacher in the room to ensure that they weren't goofing around. That's fucking weird to me, right? And that was a female teacher and they were female girls. But even at that, people like their privacy and their bodies to be kept that way, especially in the general public, right? I mean, these are young ladies. Males, I would imagine that would be just as odd for them if they were middle schoolers doing that. But even more so when we start mixing in one thing versus another versus, well, let's okay this, but not this. That's when we get into the crosshairs of middle schoolers, high schoolers, people who are vulnerable to actual shame or being uncomfortable, or like, why is there somebody who was a dude just last year in our changing room? Like,
why did you shift the whole conversation
weird.
To kids, like as a shield?
Right. Well, because that's what
you're
I'm
using
saying.
it as a shield when we're talking about just people in the bathroom.
Hold on. If you're in a public bathroom, is there a potential ability that children are going to be in there? Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay. So that is the main piece of this is children are the ones that are using these restrooms as
They're
well.
less able to defend themselves.
Right. And so if me as a woman, if I feel uncomfortable with certain particularities of other people using the restroom that aren't like me, well, could you imagine being a child and being in there and walking like a little girl walking out of the stall? I would assume most of the time their mom's going to be with them. But imagine you're a dad sending your daughter in. I think I heard you guys kind of going down that route earlier, but there's like, you don't know what's in there, right? So it's very unnerving. Like I should feel comfortable.
So Sarah, does it unnerve you that in the past you almost certainly you have gone into a public restroom and not known that you were in there with a trans person because they were passing?
I'll even say this, Effigy. I was at a bar down in Vegas, the balcony. Okay. And it was like they had some kind of drag queen thing going on. I went to go use the ladies' room, fucking men all in there with pantyhose and crazy stuff and talking about lipstick shades and this and that or another. It was fucking weird. Right. But I figured, I was like, you know what? We're in a bar. There's no kids. I'm not as concerned, and I like, it's a bar. There's bouncers, there's protectors,
that's
right?
Kind of conflating, right? That's not really trans people.
Thank God you're here, Clay.
Gay people being rude,
Really
Gay
quickly,
people being
Miss
rude.
Sarah, if I can jump
Drag
in just for a
queens.
split second. Santa really wanted to talk. He's
I
had his hand
know.
up forever.
I know.
You had a thing on the chat that you brought up, so I just wanted to address that.
Mhm.
I'm all about solutions, right? Like I don't like just bitching about something if you don't offer a meaningful solution, right? So with that, that's a cool idea, but think about what you're saying. You're saying high school boys are going to see which girls are putting. You don't think that that's going to be like as awkward as she was just fucking saying? Do you think like? And not only that, but how many high school boys are going to be like running them out so that they can like stick them to certain girls' lockers? Like it's just there's no way that's
Wasting them
a
trying to play
solution.
pranks.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way that's a viable solution. But let's
Is
keep
this
looking for
referring
solutions.
to like pads and tampons or something?
Yeah, when that was the putting
Put it in
putting a tampon.
the nurse's office. I mean,
There
you
you
could go
go.
to any young lady.
Or the
could
guidance
go-
counselor.
Well,
Yeah,
No,
there's solutions.
nurse's office.
That's
It's medical. It's literally medical. Like
Yep.
go there. Yeah, go ahead, Santa. I apologize. I was on a tangent. Some stuff just pisses me off, though.
No, I appreciate everybody's perspective, but haven't we just acted out what Trump and the Congress do? Everybody's dropping names. Everybody's dropping hypothetical situations. Everybody, anger or spin saying, I'd knock him out. Well, I tell you, if my trans daughter were going into the women's restroom and you advanced on her, you wouldn't make it.
True story.
Now,
That's
I
fair.
believe we can give everybody the right. Let's not call everybody a criminal who's going to upset Sarah or any other ladies in the ladies' room. There have certainly been examples of that, sure.
Of course.
But the majority of the examples aren't that.
At all.
Gender neutral.
So here-
If we need anything, let's build gender neutral and stop bitching about it and get something else done.
So who here holds the idea?
But wait a
that
minute. They
any
already have.
professional-
Listen. Wait. They already have gender neutral bathrooms. It's the fucking morons that want to make a statement and try to.
Are we ever going
assert-
to get back onto executive orders?
I hope so.
I mean, I'm trying to. I'm really trying to here. I'm trying to direct the
yelling.
question towards freaking executive
not
orders
yelling.
and away from this trans garbage you're always fucking stuck on, dude.
Actually, that's
I mean,
that's why it came up.
Hold on. To be fair, like we haven't done the trans topic in a while, so I'm not like mad at it because if this was a year ago, Zers, we literally always ended up on that topic. It always landed there every single panel. But we haven't.
I'm down for trans
we
debate.
there's certain people that haven't been here in a long while because they've been banned, and so that topic never came up.
The question
some people
outside
who've
of the
never been here
trans thing that
before.
I'm trying to ask is, do you think there should be constraints on executive orders of the presidency of the United States? And the reason why I bring that up is if we don't have constraints on the presidency's executive orders, you can have a president you don't like pass an executive order which requires every place of business, because we have control over commerce, to have a public restroom that allows everybody equally in there.
The executive orders do have constraints.
And I would say let's go ahead and get rid of executive orders altogether. Huzzah.
I would argue in some cases
I would
that
say
it
if we have
to
an emergency,
require,
if we have an emergency situation that would require an executive order, then we call in an emergency session of fucking Congress.
Right,
We have
I
a
think when
single bill
Congress
vote,
can't
so everybody
pass
knows where
something-
their congressional representatives stand.
and the
You
court
need a
can't
chief.
solve it, then you
Logix
can
is
use
going to make
executive
his
order.
exit, so let's go ahead and give him the floor and he can say his goodbyes.
All right. Yep. Thank you so much, Sarah. This was hella fun. Please don't forget about me in the future. If you want to have trans debates, I'm down for those too. Yeah, appreciate you.
ready.
Horse
I
radish.
love your shirt, bro.
Thank
I
you.
love that
I love
shirt.
this movie. But horseradish, it was good engaging with you and Tyler. I hope we do it again. You guys are fantastic.
Pleasure was all mine,
everybody,
sir.
everybody else on the panel, thank y'all. Appreciate everybody input.
Have a good
Appreciate
night.
for the mostly civility, but yeah, get up out of here, y'all. Good night.
Have a good night.
Good
sir.
night, Logix. Thank you so much.
I got about 45 minutes left. I mean, just so you know.
Like horseradish, you were talking earlier about who's in Trump's ear, and sometimes there's laws passed or there's executive orders that are written that seem to benefit, and the liberals even like, they're like, yeah, man, that's a great executive order. It's doing what it should. And one of those would be the tax the no taxes on tips. Executive order. Now, unfortunately, I think we've been deceived on that because I don't think anybody was really that mad. I don't think anybody was really that mad about paying the tax on the $2, but big corporations receiving $34 million tips definitely makes it plays into the rich man's pocket. It plays into the rich man's pocket more than the poor man's pocket.
You're
And
gonna
I'm
have
not
to
sure about
make
this tax thing.
corporations
I
getting
wonder if
tips.
the YouTube tips, because they are tips, are tax exempt.
Yeah, they were.
They are?
Yeah, we were able to hit the credit on that.
I haven't wanted to ask anybody,
Digital tip.
because they're
Yeah.
like, they'd be like, "Oh, you're just jealous I make money." No, not really. I'd like to know
No.
if it's,
The digital tips still count too. So yeah, you're definitely able to.
Once again, as a person who worked for gratuity for many a year in my youth, I can tell you that you choose how much you claim, which directly relates to how much you pay taxes on. And generally it's, man, I ain't telling you I made shit today. But then once you start getting older, you're like, gee golly, it'd be cool if I owned a house. Oh, you think I make $2 an hour. Fuck, I should change this. I should tell you a little bit of an indication of how much I actually make. At that point, I start paying taxes on that, et cetera, et cetera. So in effect, taxes or tips were already generally untaxed.
Well, also, what would have helped workers more, not taxing tips or taking away the exemption to the minimum wage that
raising their fucking pay. Yeah,
that tip-based workers have to go through. Yeah.
Because I'd like to live in a world where we don't have to tip anymore.
Well, wait. So you agree with going to McDonald's and paying pretty much $20 for a $5 meal?
well, you do that anyway. You do
that's
that
already
because of
happened.
McDonald's,
Not at
man.
all what
I
I
don't
even
eat at
said.
McDonald's because it makes me shit over the last.
The minimum
20
wage
years.
exemption allows people who have waitresses to pay them like $2.13 an hour.
Fucking avatar.
One at a time.
Thank you, Ben. You guys have been doing so good.
I need one of those.
I'm
Where do
gonna,
are there more
Benjamins
Benjamins out there?
You don't know what you're
just a
talking about
second. I'm
already.
gonna kick it over to Clay because Clay wasn't supposed to be here tonight. You were supposed to be taking the week off, sir. How's your work coming along?
It's definitely coming along. It's a lot more done than I had been getting done. So I have to do it. But I was listening and I was like intently listening. Everything was good up until about 20 minutes ago. And so I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I just figured I'd come up before I go back and say, hey, I was enjoying the Trump stuff. And then I don't know why does every Trump debate turn into that tranny stuff? Like, that seems to be a
Doesn't
thing.
always though. It really doesn't.
Because it's a thorn in the paw of most conservatives.
Well,
It's
I
that
think
I
bad.
would say that too.
I mean,
Steer the narrative.
to be quite frank, like this is the first time we've brought up the trans issues in quite a while. I don't think we've tapped into it for unless it was like briefly spoken on, but
It's been a minute.
yeah.
Yeah, and
we
I
really
would say there's been a lot of like religious debates of like this one was Trump, so it's politics.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well,
You understand
also too, the Overton window on transgender issues is passing, just the same as abortion, just the same as what was the other one?
crime.
The J6ers, even though there's a debate next week about it, like nobody really cared to talk about it anymore. I had to kind of search far and wide to get that one.
Epstein.
So like Epstein is like
all of it comes in with the Trump stuff.
It comes in and out.
It comes in and out, but there is an Overton window where it's like, I've been there, heard that, we're kind of over it, and that's where we are right now on the transgender issues, because you either have made your decision or you haven't made your decision, and until some kind of new policy, like the California Supreme Court case with the teachers not telling the parents about the issues, that one, I believe Ryan Mullally actually covered it on a review, but when that came out, that could have like struck up more conversation about it. But outside of that, it's like it's stagnant right now.
Yeah, but I was enjoying the stuff about the executive orders and the principles behind. Of course, the principles is really always the best way to go with things on any debate, in my opinion. But particularly with the executive orders, when I was listening to everything, it's like on the left, they're telling the right now what the right was telling the left before, which is that when you go outside of the law, that's breaking the law. It's not just going outside of the law. It's called breaking the law. And I'm not allowed to break the law. I don't want to break the law, but I definitely don't want the politicians, the people in the leadership to break the law. I don't want them, skirting the law based upon, if I write this executive order, okay, it's going to get challenged. Well, either you knew that it was going to get challenged or you're just really not qualified, which, with elected positions, that happens a lot. But the qualifications really do matter. And so if the person is aware, then that's really, really bad. So there should be a test for that when the person is in that position. Is he aware that what he was doing was going to get challenged? And at that point, then it's mens rea and actus reus, both at the same time. That's a crime.
I do believe earlier
though,
he made the argument
Clay.
that he's doing it to challenge the status quo. So that goes right with it doesn't fall into the justus rea.
But let me ask you this, Clay. If you had the ability to loophole something, knowing that you could or could not get it through, right? Like I'm gonna try something, and either they can kind of chime in on it and shut it down, or they could be like, no, we kind of like this. Let's let this one slide through, right? Are you going to most likely try it, or are you gonna just sit there and think about it and then give up on it?
Yeah. So me personally, I just can't see myself trying to skirt it, even though it is a loophole, especially with the knowledge that I have now on what is and isn't constitutional. The way that I look at it personally is that if it is not an authority that I have, then it's going outside of my authority. It is an abuse of authority.
But if you believed that what you were going to try to push through could very well be like the best thing for American society, and you're like, this is it, guys. Like, I'm telling you, this is it. This is gonna fix everything. And you have all of the best intentions of in the world, and you want to just go ahead and try to push it through and see what happens. Would you still do it?
So the simple answer is no. But the longer answer is that I would encourage others to get on board with it. So I would actually go out campaigning for it. And if it's a really good idea, then whether the people want it or not is really what's going to determine it. It can be a great idea, but if the people don't want it, then it's not something that is my authority.
But Clay, your issue is that whether it would be legal versus illegal or not. Okay, so getting people on board wouldn't make a difference if it was illegal.
Yeah. So let's take like the president's motorcade, for instance, right? So he has the power and authority to essentially use his motorcade for what is legal and lawful when he goes where he goes, essentially, right? So all of that is allocated, all that funding, all of that places that he goes, it's all scheduled, all that. But if he goes and does something with that motorcade, right, that he's not actually allocated to do, then he actually is going outside of the law. It's not like something that most people would make a big deal of, right? So if he made the thing into like all gold trim, would that be a big deal? Probably not, because essentially those are 3 cars? Not a big deal, right? But that's funding for the people to be able to use that, him to be able to use that according to what the Congress and the people tell him to do with it. It's not his personal motorcade funding.
I don't know if you understand what I'm asking. Horseradish?
So I just wanted to ask a question because I hosted a debate just recently about having a I think it was something that congressional representatives should pass an understanding law before they can vote on legislation. And you're sort of proposing something similar. And the thing that the most irrefutable argument that we found was, how do you test for intent? How do you test for like, so what you were saying about like how so the answer that we came up with is, if it turns out because they act in contrary to that, it would be a demonstrable so they're acting hypocritically. The benefit would be, or I mean, the downside to that is that you now have to act after the fact, and that's less desirable. So how would do you have any idea of how we could test for their intent up front before they do these executive orders?
No, that you can't. You really can't. It's only after the fact. In fact, that's the exact way that all due process works. Is that
what about looking at their donors and their donors' intent? Would you think that would be a sufficient way to perhaps?
I don't think you could still guarantee that, because I mean, just because somebody sponsors me and they think like this is going to be the best president because of policies that we think, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to pass policies just for them. I may pass policies because I think this is actually the best argument, the best case scenario. So there's no way you could put intent, right? Mens rea is what you're talking about, Clay. Yeah. Now, unless somebody like mens rea is mainly used in terms of criminal crime. Like when I commit a crime and you go to court, mens rea is used. You got to have the intent plus the action, right? So, but you can't necessarily prove it unless they say, I'm going to you, right? That is intent because I said I'm going to do such thing.
So basically they'd have to get caught on a hot mic to prove that they were doing it against their actual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with ill intent. You'd have to.
A lot of those lately.
You have
Which
to
is what
prove
happened
ill
with
intent.
Nixon, right?
Thank God.
With Nixon?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Watergate.
He actually got caught because he said
Well,
something.
he recorded himself, so that was his own fucking fault.
Exactly.
And
isn't it over here and still?
Isn't it interesting how the current administration is doing everything they can to obfuscate the records? Like, I've
they
heard
kind of have to when everybody's against him so hardcore. Like, when has he like put in anything to pass anything, and Congress was like, "Oh yeah, let's do that, let's do it." You know what it was?
Story.
It was that no tax on tips thing. They were like behind him on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But of course,
Because
everything
there was
else,
nothing
it's
there.
like we got to fight against the motherfucker. Like, but when Biden went in, when
you're not
actually,
supposed
the
to just
first day-
acquiesce to one person. That's not how politics works.
Sure. But when Biden went in the first day, what did he do? He signed out like 300 something executive orders on his first fucking day. He ended up doing like 700, I think, throughout his presidency. But he
And to
did the
be
first.
fair, the no tax on tips things everybody loves because, well, not paying for free money is
Well, they should,
always
yeah.
a good thing.
I totally get it. It's like I'm not just trying to blame Biden for shit. Like every other president's done stuff people didn't like, you know.
Anyway,
So would you agree, Trippy, that was effective for Biden to do as soon as he got in?
I think it was just kind of, hey, I didn't like the previous guy, so I'm going to sign out all his shit. That's the same thing Trump did when he stepped back in after Biden.
Which I think is a perfect argument against its effectiveness because there's nothing that lasts.
You know
Yeah,
what
it's
would be
done
an
and not done.
awesome argument? An argument to complete the donut goal. We are down to 6 minutes and not a single one came in for it.
Throw some money in the
Holy
tip jar.
shit, effigy. What the fuck do they need to do, sir?
They need to look deep into my eyes. You will give the money. You will give the money. You don't need the money. We need the money. Give us the money. You will give the money. Give the
Wow,
money.
that one's new.
Listen to the man.
That one's new. Spin, tell him what's up, sir. Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels is getting a little mad. So if you want to hear me get really fucking angry and fit the angry American, give me some motherfucking money and I'll make it happen.
Clay, you just got here. You took off work to do this. What do you say?
I say that before I go, because I do have to go back to work.
You
guys, yeah. Well, you're at work right now. So, speaking of which, send them donos because essentially I need something to listen to while I'm sitting there hammering this series out. And eventually, when it's done, you guys are really going to enjoy it because there's a bunch of legal stuff as well as it's entertaining. Some little infotainment kind of stuff. It's about 24 episodes, so plus a open and a close. It's gonna be awesome. But you guys send some donos. Keep this stuff going because I'm not done yet with my work, which means that I need something to watch, and this should be it. And thank you, Sarah.
You're very welcome. Trippy just got here. Trippy, you don't want to go, do you?
I just got here. And you know what? The instructions were unclear, Sarah. I got my dick stuck in the ceiling fan.
Oh, no.
You guys should give Sarah some money, and then I can pull my thingy out of there, and we'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Give her some money. Help her out. Keep the show going.
Get some bling bling like what you got.
It's my chain. It bounces with me.
Do your chain hang low? Do a wobble to and fro. Calvin!
Do your balls hang low to the
Calvin, you're being paged to the front, sir. Calvin's taking a shit.
Paging
Calvin.
Mr. Calvin. Paging
Calvin, don't
Mr.
forget
Calvin.
to wash your hands, sir. We'll catch you on the flip side. Zers.
All right, Sarah has decreed an executive order that you guys reach into your wallet and grab some money out and pay up a donation. Unfortunately, it's not very effective in its outcome so far. So you guys need to change that. You're I don't know. It's a problem with you being poor and ineffective, or wait, not ineffective, inactive. That's right, inactive. That's about it.
Fair
Great
enough.
energy
That's-
out of Zersu today.
That's a
Mixed
good
it up.
topic pull, too. I like that. All right, Santa and Santa's helper. What say you?
Every night is ladies' night when you're here with Sarah. So make sure you keep the tip jar going because she works hard for the money. She works so hard for you, honey. She works hard for the money, and you better treat her right.
Hot diggity. She works hard for the money.
Come on, guys. You should pay her. She's giving you some quality content, okay? Oh,
Yes.
give her some.
That's right. See, the
That's
kid.
an
the
effective
kid even-
executive order.
That is. The kid has spoken. Mr. Balderson, you're awfully quiet tonight. Maybe some ka-ching can get you to talk.
Yeah, that'll get me going. That'll get me going. I apologize. I've been gardening my ass off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to step away, you're always, you don't have to be here.
I got Wednesday and Thursday coming.
Ooh. You do a TED Talk Tuesday tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Why cannot? There we go. Horseradish. You're officially being christened into panel life here at the Mater Nation, where we must force the grift if the grift doesn't happen naturally. What say you, sir?
Well, I'm not very good at this part, unfortunately, because I still don't understand how this is entertaining. But that's just because I want to do it myself. And with that said, I have gotten the chance to do it tonight, and I appreciate that. I don't get to do this very often, and so getting to hang out with you guys has been wonderful, and I don't want this to end. So I got 30 more minutes in me. I feel like I don't know what the dono goal is. What is it? What number do we need to see happen?
They owe 9 more over on the dono goals.
9 more. I feel like we're pretty fucking close then, kids. And how about we get on the ball and keep this ball rolling.
Keep her running. Listen, Horseradish, he is officially popping his Mater cherry tonight, and we want to do him right, okay? You gotta do it right the first time around. All right, you have exactly 1 minute, and if that 1 minute drops down, then we have a 15-minute one big fat red dono on the screen, and that's what we have to do to keep the show going. So you can either send 9 in now or one big fat red one.
Just make it even 10, right? Just make it even 10.
Well, it started at 10, so that's why they are actually pretty far off. But Jim followed the executive order. I did this only because of the executive order. Thank you, Zers, for handing out the executive order on the behalf of Mater Nation. And I definitely wouldn't have donated otherwise. You donated last night, Jim. What are you talking about? Thank you, Jim. Thank you for proudly sponsoring.
The executive order was proactive.
Proactive. That's wonderful. All right. What do we got here? Moving further in the conversation. I don't remember who I interrupted.
Well,
but I do.
I just also want to say that the mic and voices of the night go to Effigy and Trippy. I think the two of them
Yes.
debating would be straight up ASMR, and you guys could have a fucking podcast.
We're the same guy.
that.
We can't do
That
that. We get
checks
He
out.
wants to bang to your voice.
No, I'm just saying that the two of y'all,
Thank
you should be doing audiobooks for fuck's sake.
Well,
It's too hard to switch mics that quickly, that many times.
Let's try it. Let's see what we got here. Let's speak.
I'm trying not to hold it against Trippy. I'm trying not to go the because I think that means you're a juggalo. So
it could. Don't hold it against me. Hi.
Hello.
So, like, I think Riddlebox was one of ICP's best albums. I know that's what we're debating about.
Okay.
Just bring up some shit you got no idea about. This is fun. I don't know what we're debating about. Maybe we should just go on an actual date.
This
Which one of us is the puppet?
ASMR, guys.
But I'd have to get really close to the mic and start telling people to unzip.
Just need to breathe down, breathe in, let it all out.
I don't have any bags of chips to open for ASMR.
It's been a tough day, and you
It has
deserve
been a tough
this.
day. Yeah, and tomorrow you still have to go to Walmart and deal with the smells, mostly of weed, and all of the people yelling and screaming and walking through the aisles and getting in your way. But that's
All
okay
right.
tonight.
It's
Relaxing.
May the 4th. Get
I don't know Star Wars.
unacceptable. You are banned from my panel the next 3 months.
I don't even know Star Wars. Something else in May though. I think the Batman Day is coming up, or maybe
No,
that's March.
Star Wars, he just does not.
Dude, I know Mark Hamill from the Batman animated series. That's where I know him from. He was never in anything else.
You don't know him from the movie version of The Guyver?
I actually don't think so. I have to check that out. Watch
Or his
MacGyver.
or his reoccurring role in the 90s TV show of The Flash,
Oh my God, yeah, I think I actually do know that one. Maybe a little bit.
which he
He's been with
reoccurred
DC
in the
forever.
2000s TV show The Flash.
It wasn't like the Jester or something like that, or
The Trickster, yeah.
Trickster. Oh my God.
Yeah, now we're
Dude, it's
getting
been a while.
nerdy enough for you, Sarah? That's fucking nerdy.
Talk
been a minute.
nerdy to me.
You talk nerdy to me.
Yeah, it's nerdy. You know, his character was was an alternate universe character.
Right.
He wasn't even from that timeline. He brought an alternate Flash too, who looked like Jay Garrick, who looked like his father.
Mm-hmm. Jay
Comic
Garrick,
shit.
the first Flash. I think it was like, I don't know what year he debuted. I know Superman was like 1938. I know nerdy stuff, but only when it comes up naturally. I don't know shit about anime, except for Dragon Ball.
Come on,
What do you
you
think,
had
man?
to have been one of the anime kids in the 90s, right? Not the weeaboos of the 2000s, but like the 90s, right? When the manga brand was topped,
Like Toonami. Yeah. Where they had like
before
Inuyasha,
that, like
Cowboy
come on,
Bebop
man.
and shit.
You had a friend that came over and was like, "Hey, I've got this anime called Ninja Scroll, and it's fucked up."
Actually, no. I think the only thing we ever watched at somebody else's house was the Cowboy Bebop movie. I'm trying
Damn,
to think though. Like the Dragon Ball. Did you hear they're remaking Dragon Ball Super?
They're making so many versions of Dragon Ball right now.
Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball Heroes, Dragon Ball Daima, Dragon Ball fucking, I don't know, balls in your mouth. That's got to be one. Dragon Balls in your mouth, right? It's got to be like a special cartoon people can find on the internet. Just give Sarah money. That's what you guys should be doing. Where's the donations? Are they coming in?
You know, since it's May the 4th, is it even May the 4th? It's May the 5th now. No, it's still May the 4th. You know, I worked in a movie
5th for me.
theater when episode 1 came out, and that was a crazy fucking deal.
Is that the Clone Wars one? Because I think I went to the theater with a friend of mine for his birthday.
That
and
was
saw
the second or third one.
Oh. Yeah, we saw
Oh,
Clone Wars. I don't remember much.
episode 1, the one that came out in 99, like after there had been like a 30-year break
Mhm.
from when we were kids all the way to, yeah, that was nuts. People camping out at the theater for like 3 days straight. That was a crazy time.
I know we saw a little bit of that. There was people cosplayed when we went to go see Clone Wars. Like there was some dude, you know, dressed as Vader
There were people buying tickets for movies that had the trailer for it just to see the trailer. I remember that.
I remember that well. And my friend was a huge Star Wars fan.
It was like Meet Joe Black too. It was like a romance comedy.
Right. The sand, it gets everywhere. It gets in your butt crack. And there's entire planets made out of sand.
It's sand. It's coarse and rough.
He was kind of a bitch, wasn't he? That character. It's Anakin. But I mean, I guess Luke was like a little bit of a whiner. So like,
I love watching like Gen Z, Gen Alpha people watch the second one for the first time, and they're just like, how is anything of what he's doing good and nice and not stalkerish?
Yeah, well, they should watch a movie from the '60s or listen to any music from that time.
Oh no, they can't. They give them a Mel Brooks movie, and their minds like melt, and they turn into just like raging people.
Clockwork Orange.
This is
no Blazing Saddles, man. Blazing Saddles. Give them that, and they just lose their shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't believe he said that.
He used the N-word. Oh my god! Oh, no, no, it's a word.
We are officially on the one big fat red dono or we end. We're down to 12 minutes left, ladies and gentlemen. This is hit it or quit it mode. The choice is yours. We're happy to go either direction. Well, at least I don't think the panel wants to leave, but yeah, it's up to you. It is up to you. I will say your voices together. I really actually do think you should start a podcast.
We could talk about how I don't know Star Wars. I went upside down for a second. You see that?
Oh, goodness.
Trippy,
Anyway.
we need the trippy horn. We need the trippy horn.
It was the smooth
Let's talk about
jazz. that I was-
Spaceballs.
No,
Spaceballs missed
I
a
want
great opportunity.
I want the fire alarm beep beep.
detector.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, smoke
That
detector.
word.
We got
Spaceballs had a great opportunity to name their sequel Spaceballs 3: The Search for Spaceballs 2.
They
And
did.
They didn't do it.
What do they do?
That would
They
have been
call
the
it what
perfect title.
now?
They're calling it
What's it called?
Spaceballs, the new one.
We ain't found shit.
It's kind of lame. They should do that whole combing the desert joke again, where they had the black dudes were combing the desert with an afro pick.
That was a classic.
You know the guy the actor who says that is the guy who's was it Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager?
Nope,
he had
no
that,
idea.
That long career as that character.
I never even
We
watched
ain't
Star Wars.
found
I mean Trek.
shit.
Star Trek's the movie, right? And then Star Wars is the TV series. Nope.
No, there's way more TV shows of Star Trek than movies.
This is starting to become a panel from the outer limits.
Santa, why don't you bring us back on track?
Well, I know since Trump became president, feel like I live in Black Mirror as well. So,
Well, then maybe you need to get out of this country where you don't fucking belong.
Okay, well,
go ahead, Santa.
That escalated.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my mic. I can get
hey,
that.
my people were just chilling in South Louisiana, and the U.S. just came along and bought our entire state. So that's how we became
Horseradish
American.
doesn't know me yet.
See,
I do
see,
not
folks,
know
we're
any of y'all.
we're ready to go. The horses are at the gate. All you need to do is pay the toll. Pay the toll, and let's get going.
Come on, pay for the elf's gifts. Come on.
Yeah, pay for it's you guys. Christmas is coming up. You got to give Sarah a Christmas gift. Is that where we're going with
Christmas in fucking July. It's a real thing.
Yeah. I guess I don't like it. Why are we starting Christmas 7 months before it starts? It's like it was just Christmas. Take all the stuff off the shelves, put them
People
back
go
up.
out and get their hose. That's all.
Got to find a hose. That's why I always carry the baby oil.
Sarah, look at Trippy.
It's. I got this from Diddy's house. So like, if you use that baby oil to
oh
do a
shit,
back rub, it puts people to sleep.
Come
That's the
on
only
over,
thing I noticed.
Trippy. I got you, babe.
Yeah, we got the baby oils. You're gonna mix it together. Maybe it'll be less potent. We won't be asleep for 5 days.
Oh, dull and tired. Thank you for the $5. Says Brian, claiming he's the villain is hilarious. Dude, you hold the same views as the normies. I mean, that's the great thing about this platform is people can make all of these claims, and it's up for the panel or other debaters to disprove them. But his personal feelings on Andrew and Rachel or that whole scenario, that's his personal feelings. There's nothing for us to combat that on, and nor do we care to debate it. I mean, that's if he chooses to talk about those things, I kind of can't, there's not much I can do because we kept moving on from that. So, but thank you for the $5. I appreciate it.
Sarah, can I ask horse?
He was just saying for that event as well, right? He was brought in as an adversary in the event because that sells more tickets instead of having two friends debate.
Oh, why was Brian brought in for that debate?
Well, he said flat out that it wasn't a position he held, and he was only brought in because he's hated.
Yeah,
He's brought in to be the heel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if somebody offered to pay for my flight, my hotel, all of my per diems, and pay me on top of that to come out and debate a topic that I don't care to debate, if I'm getting paid to go lose, like I still win.
True.
And I get a free little mini vacation.
Is
I'm not
Brian
complaining.
that Brian Shapiro guy?
Yeah, he was on last night.
Oh, okay. Well, the only other person I've ever heard say that guy's name is Cool Vic, and I was like, I don't know who that is, because he was talking about something I think I said or maybe AP said, and it's like neither one of these guys, neither one of us know Brian Shapiro in any way. I had to look him up. When he said that name, I was like, I don't know who that is. So then I did, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. It's like, I'm not like some kind of debate bro. I don't think anybody up here would be calling themselves that, right? I don't know debaters.
They made that's pretty bad when they made a skit in South Park for that. Was it South Park?
Probably.
Baby bro.
Are you talking about the Charlie Kirk episode?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I did watch that one. Yeah, they were planning on keeping that as a recurring character.
That was so damn accurate as far as debate me, bro. Come on, debate me.
Even Charlie Kirk said it was a good episode. Like he was, he saw it, and his company and everything was like, no, keep the episode up. But Matt and Trey decided to have the episode removed. I don't know if that stuck though. They might have put it back up by now, but
That's heartbreaking because I mean, even I can enjoy some comedy.
Sarah Holgerson showing off his pussy.
Yeah. Sarah, bring Baldy up. Bring Baldy up full screen.
He's already put the cat down. They have claws. Don't make him pick up a cat.
Give me kitty love. We need
Well,
kitty love.
now he's going to do it for money. That's prostitution, isn't it?
Technically,
not necessarily.
I never didn't think about that.
It's a 2-for-1 special. Don't eat the cats, Ben. Someone quick, pay $100 so Ben doesn't eat the cat.
Please.
The kitten saves the kitten.
Wait, where's the cat? Isn't he supposed to be up here?
Who?
Brick?
He left. He's got work to do. He's still in the chat though. He's hanging out in the chat.
Radish, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Anybody
As he
hear me?
farts, as your chair farted. Your chair farted. Yeah, get
Can
you some
anybody hear me?
WD-40. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Radish, I got a question. In your opinion, has any of Trump's executive orders benefited the American people?
Holy shit, we're back to the prompt. Hold your horses.
I've been trying for the last 10, 15 minutes, but it's all right.
Is this Spin that's speaking right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers. Your lips weren't moving, so I couldn't tell. Okay, so the answer to your question, I actually did prepare for this. God damn it! Now I got to pull my notes up. Oh, I closed them all. The answer is yes. I just don't remember them. I had them. Yeah, no, I had them up. There were a couple where I was like, well, yeah, I mean, that's probably what you got to do right there. And again, that because there's some things that I am not an everything the administration does is evil. It's more that I disagree with the vast majority of them, and I do not like the way that they are bending and in some cases breaking the structure. Really, stress testing is the way that I do my best to
Sure.
But no, there have been things that I'm
I'll
like,
name.
yeah, sure, that's.
I'll kind of name one. I'll kind of name.
Yeah, if you
one.
want to name some off back, yeah, one to one, I'll address each one.
Okay. So what about the executive order? Please forgive me. I can't note it verbatim right this second.
No worries. Like I said, I closed my notes. Same. That's
Right.
why I'm not trying to.
The medication and what he just did. Again, please forgive me. I don't have the whole context in front of me.
Sure.
But
So
lowering costs. Let's just
in some cases. Yeah.
Put it in a nutshell, right?
I think that one was beneficial. I do not think it went far enough. I think that in a large way, it was the smallest inch that he could give to his own constituency. Because again, as I've said countless times, he ran and got to the power that he has as a populist. He said, look, I'm here for you. He convinced a lot of people of that. His first term in office, there was a lot of things that he did where I was like, yeah, he's actually, now there was a lot of other things that he did that I'm like, yeah, dude, you're doing this for you. You're doing this for big business, but okay, whatever. The point is, in this second term, I think that the vast majority of what he's been doing has not been doing what his constituency asked him to do. And so I think that was because you visit the Appalachians, you're going to see a lot of people who aren't doing so hot. And so those people he reached out, he made them think that he was there for them. And then the things are just getting worse for them. So he's trying to do what he can, but I honestly think that it could have been way better. And I feel like he made concessions to big businesses and pharma because we know the prices of those other drugs are going to go up. And that's going to fuck a lot of the people who are in more dire straits. I would rather pay a little bit more for my blood pressure medicine than most of us are on at our age, as opposed to the person who is currently can't go to work because they're dying of cancer, having to pay 3 times the bill for theirs. You see what I'm saying?
Right. No, but I mean, my wife is a diabetic, and I know prior, right? Let's just go to diabetes for a minute.
Insulin definitely help. Yeah, it's one.
There is a
country. Yes,
I would say comparable high blood pressure medicine and diet, or people that have high blood pressure. Please forgive me, and people that have diabetes is one of the biggest epidemics in the United States, and I can't say for sure, but in the populace of the entire world. So I mean, I can't say that for sure, right?
I feel like somebody has shown me evidence that it's not that way in other countries, that it is a predominant.
It may or may not.
I could be wrong. Yeah,
right. But I mean, I know what I was paying post insurance to now taking a QR code or a barcode essentially, and paying 75% less on top of post insurance, which again, essentially that executive order is saving now on pharma a lot, on the consumer of pharma a lot more money, which in turn, in my opinion, is saving me a little bit of extra money at the end of the day. So 100%. we would agree that it is helping in some post fashion.
Yes,
right?
100%. Yes.
I don't think it's far reaching enough, and the reason why I say that is you apparently don't take any tier 4 drugs that are, as far as your insurance registered.
Tier 4 meaning give me a brand
like
name.
Jardiance. Jardiance is one, a heart medicine that also works good for lowering A1C and blood sugar. It's kind of like a miracle drug.
No, I do not take any Schedule 4
or any of those higher level drugs. Those drugs are not dropping in price one bit. I mean, my client, he takes several tier 4 drugs, and like one of them, which I mentioned, Jardiance, is so expensive. He has to get help every I think it's like 3 months or something like that, just to pay for a bottle that's like $400-500 for no sane reason whatsoever.
So real quick,
I'm not saying that every executive order. Hold on.
I'm
Drew.
actually going to.
The host is talking.
Can you hear me?
It's her show. Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
actually going to
very low,
interrupt
Sarah.
because it might be because my whole internet went out, but I'm actually the chat did not pay for you to continue talking. So we're actually going to go around the room. Everyone's going to give their closing thoughts. You can speak to that topic, the Medicare topic, if you'd like. I'm all for it, but it has to be in your closing thoughts. All right, let's kick it off with Zers. Sir, go ahead and close out.
Oh, we're closing out. That sucks. Well, damn it. You guys need to pay up, man. What's wrong with you? If you just pulled out $100, stuck it in the show, we all could still be here.
Was that your final closing thought?
Yep.
All right, fair enough. Spin to you, sir.
Well, I want to ask your permission to say I will open another panel if we want to continue this conversation, but it is up to you, Sarah.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, tell them.
I most definitely will, and I'll drop the link in the back. Or
Hurry up.
if Mr.
Use those hands.
Balderson can help me facilitate that on my last thoughts, I would appreciate it. The bottom line is Trump has done good things in my own opinion, and like-minded people as myself. There when it comes to all of the other things, and we're not going to go into a diatribe because we don't have time because the chat's a piece of shit. Anyway, my closing statement is, horseradish, if you want to get a hold of me and we can have a further conversation, just talk to Sarah. And I'd love, and I would welcome that conversation. And I'd love to even have you on my show. So
cheers.
Sarah, I'm sorry the chat's a piece of shit. We need the money. You got until the end because it can save it. We love you, Sarah.
Thank you, Spin. I appreciate it. Horseradish to you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So I do my best to try to help people meet in the middle. I am that's my biggest thing. I'm actually sort of a hybrid progressive libertarian. Like I think that I don't fit in a box. I'm equally 2A and equally pro-choice, and I will hear you out on your arguments, and I will say back your arguments to you to show that I actually hear you and I'm understanding you, but I'm also going to try to show you a different way. I was super excited, Mr. Spin, because I was going to lay out the best case that I've ever made for why socialized medicine would be a benefit for all of America. We don't want to pay. We understand why we don't pay for the police to show up. We understand why we don't pay for the fire department to show up. There's 3 different cars that are going to show up at my fucking door when I dial 911. Why am I paying for that third one? Why is that third one going to fucking ruin my life? And if we're going to socialize other things, I feel like healthcare should be something that should not be profit motivated. I agree. We need a lot of our economy to be profit motivated. I agree. We need some meritocracy in business, and the systems work, but there's knobs, and we can't have that knob cranked all the way to fucking 11, or we have people dying in the streets because they can't afford their fucking level 4 medicines. And I don't think that's the right solution. And I don't think that you do either if you love America as much as I do, because I want all of Americans to do well. And the fear of fucking getting sick should never be. If I find out that I got something bad tomorrow and I'm going to get all choked up over here because of how devastating that could be to my life. Because just like Sarah, they're not tipping me on this fucking platform either. So again, like I appreciate you guys. I am the Horseradish over at Twitch TV. I've started kind of sticking my toe in the water over here on YouTube. But I host good faith, structured Lincoln Douglas style debates every Friday night and Saturday night on my channel, 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, depending on which night of the week it is and what time I get off of work. So with that said, Miss Sarah, I appreciated the hell out of this, and all of y'all. It was a great meeting, y'all, and I appreciate the opportunity and the platform.
And Sarah, I hate to interrupt you, but the StreamYard link is in the back chat for anybody on panel. And Horseradish, if you would love to come over and we can just talk a little bit further, I would very well welcome it.
I would love to, but as I told her, my heart out is in 1 minute. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It's just I got to get up and
my
work.
time.
Yeah, exactly. It's work time. So, but I appreciate. I don't usually stream on Monday nights. So that said, but normally, and I'm sure that I hope Miss Sarah will honor me with another invite sometime in the future.
Mhm.
And as such,
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll cross swords again in the future.
I would love to
You
be
seem to
your
mix it well.
opposition or
All right,
whatever.
stop sucking his dick, Spin. Jesus. Salty Santa
Damn.
to you, sir.
Yeah, I wasn't going to stop him.
Well, again, I really appreciate the fact that people with opposing viewpoints can come talk on here, because there are a lot of things going on, and there are a lot of things that people want to express, and they don't have any venue to do that safely. And whether it be on the panel or whether it be in the chat, this might be the only opportunity some folks have to be as opinionated as Horseradish or Spin and I might be. But I hope that people appreciate it, that they come back and that they're looking for subjects that are important to them, so that they can learn different perspectives, perhaps, or just beat up on Spin when he's wrong. Thank you.
Fair enough. Trippy to you, sir. You looking good. You looking good.
Thank you. Yeah, it reflects the exact panel, except for none of these people are on it. The glasses. Yeah. I saw Joe Cool said that Spin and Horseradish look like they could be twins, and I didn't see it until he said it.
He looks like my brother. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever he turned his camera on at first, I was like, "Fuck, goddamn! When did you start streaming, dude?" But no.
Yeah, I
definitely could be kinfolk.
I didn't know you were live, Sarah, until like minutes before I joined, because I was talking to Ringyald over on Instagram, and he was like, "I was just on there." I'm like, "She's live? I didn't get any notification."
Yeah,
so my
I
opinion
hear
would be
that the notifications are having issues, so make sure you unsubscribe, resubscribe, hit the bell, and hit all.
that's right. That's a good way to handle that. Also, I need 3 subs, and I'll be at 1776. I want to screenshot that. So like 3 subs, guys. Also, give Sarah more money more often, and just like do that. And she can make money, and then she can like use the money for stuff, and she can buy herself some New Balances. Some New Balance shoes. Yep. They're shoes.
Shoes.
All right, I'm gonna dip out.
Thank you,
Y'all have a good one.
Trippy. You too.
Bye.
Effigy to you, sir.
Yeah, back to the original prompt. I don't think any kind of executive orders are effective in the same nature that laws actually are, and it's really the only fix is to make it to where Article 1 is back to being the supreme article in our Constitution. That's why I kept bringing up the faithfully executing aspect of the job of the executive, is because I don't think they're fucking faithfully executing when they're basically trying to amass power that takes it straight from Article 1. If we wanted a king, we would have put one there, but it was the entire point of the thing is that we were trying not to. So how can you say you're faithfully executing if you're trying to turn the executive into a king? It just makes no sense to me. Yeah, so I mean that's really the only fix.
I think we should get rid of all executive orders. Can we do that? Can we get rid of that altogether? No more of those.
I'm sure there are things that we need some executive orders for, just within the internal power structure.
Call an emergency Congress.
We could definitely neuter them, for sure. But I want all kinds of things to happen. You know, I'd uncap the House. I'd do all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. At the end of the day, we have to figure out why, and you brought it up quite a bit. Congress people are stuck in a cycle now where they're always having to go after money and go after all kinds of other stuff rather than actually understanding how to do their jobs. And once again, one of the things I've just said, if we uncap the House to where if Congress is so big that it doesn't fucking matter, that'd be one way to get away from it. But we have to get them back to doing work, and make sure that we elect people who understand that they're going up there to be responsible and not be political influencers, right? Yeah. Great conversation tonight, everybody. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you, Effigy. Mr. Balderson, to you, please.
Sorry, I'm low energy tonight. Low energy.
We've worn you out.
Yeah. Spring is not easy on a farmer. That's and I don't seem to be getting younger. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, interesting talk. Executive orders, I understand the function. I'm not a fan. I think there needs to be some limitation set on them. But I also think, the House and the Senate suck balls, so whatever.
All right, fair
Uncle
enough.
Tech Talks tomorrow night.
Easy peasy. All right, tomorrow night we've got the feminism debate with Ghosty and Taylor Fogarty, two lovely ladies on Taco Tuesday and Cinco de Mayo. Very exciting, very thrilled. Bring your own margaritas. We'll have a blast together. Outside of that, Thursday I'm taking off. Wednesday I'll see you at Sleepy Tomato. Friday, Saturday are still up in the air. Sunday, we've got a debate between Craig McNeil and Paranoid American. They were just here, or Paranoid American was just here recently on adrenochromes. Did I say that right? I hope. But more are being laid out right now. So I hope you all are excited. Outside of that, fuck
This
off.
video was somewhat informative.
That's all I got for today. Until next time,
see ya.